The two words. The Board of Governors of IMX Institute was very keen for faculty development programs and course material development. The board had approved a perspective plan way back in 92-93, but not much progress was seen. In the year 2000, the institute started PhD program, but it could not scale up in 15 years. Up to 2015, only about 3 dozen doctoral students graduated. Nothing, however, could happen for sustained lifelong exercise for faculty development at various levels in a concerted manner. For development of in-house faculty, allowance for attending conference in country and abroad were introduced, but it was availed by few young faculty members, that too for participating only in international conferences. Independent research by senior faculty members was at a very low key, and most were quite satisfied by adding their name to research papers prepared by doctoral students mandated for publication. On the course material front, hardly anything happened despite a good number of faculty members having been sent abroad for case development workshops and programs. Writing books was rare and did not get encouragement. While the new director, who joined in 1999, encouraged organization of national and international seminars and conferences, his successor, Dr. Vikas, who joined in 2003 and reigned for over 10 years, detested it and felt it was a waste of time and money, and that the faculty used the money to go for excursion in the name of attending conferences. For grooming the faculty of other management schools, though board was very keen and wished to create a faculty development center, successive efforts of putting proposals to MHRD, Ministry of Human Resource Development, failed, as proposals typically sought huge grants for non-recurring and recurring expenses, which had a huge component of honorarium to faculty in line with rate for sponsored training programs, which was treated as consulting. The institute's open MDPs were limping with not so impressive turnout, but sponsored training was a good revenue and surplus generator. The board appreciated it and was happy with the ever-increasing size of corpus fund, through sponsored training and increase in MBA fees, which has gone up fourfold in 7 years. One of the reasons for the failure of open faculty development program was cost. The director and successive MDP chairmen were aiming at rates as high as for those for sponsored MDPs, which was 5 to 10 times of what the open FDP participant could bear. Although the rates that open FDP participant could bear could cover all the out-of-pocket costs, and a good part of facilities were lying idle, food expenses were being incurred for maintenance and upkeep of those facilities. The building expenditure was already paid by MHRD, and thus no charge for that was needed. The institute could support 8 to 10 FDPs at low cost, which was within the reach of FDP participants. The other major problem was faculty reluctance. After meeting the minimum workload requirement, many were keen to write either a research paper to present in an international conference or earn sumptuous honorarium by taking classes in sponsored training programs. Remaining were content with gossiping, politicking, and bickering after meeting the minimum workload requirement, especially for professors who had nothing to look forward to gain, like further promotion, etc., or to lose. The academic administration position was not respected as they were perceived to be doled out to those whom director liked. Some die-hard optimists who tried to engage in other things even then had to face various hurdles. Organizing conferences and seminars, open faculty development programs, which were more demanding tasks, did not find place even in the workload norms of faculty, leave alone any incentive, earning, or appreciation from the director. If one came forward to conduct one or two programs for faculty development, the director would not allow more than one. He never inaugurated or met the participants of open FDPs. Encouraged by such attitude of director, the staff of FDP office also threw spanners by asking to get repeated approvals from the MDP chairman, director, etc., even after all-inclusive approval were given by the director. One assistant went to the extent of telling a senior professor that the institute had stopped providing course material and that the coordinator, the professor, should seek a special permission for xeroxing the course material and case material, which the professor had prepared with extensive efforts, as the material was about 200 pages. The professor retorted that he would not seek any such approval, but if the material was not prepared for participant, he will abstain from the program, as he could not conduct any class without the course material, which was going to be a basis for class discussion. The coordinator occasionally had to pay taxi fares for guests he invited for few classes or requested them to bear it themselves. The program assistant would create hurdles in settling payments. Once a board member of our IMX came for a lecture and gave claim for taxi fare of Rs. 600 on a piece of paper. The assistant later asked the coordinator to get the guest signature on the claim, which meant the coordinator had to pay as much amount from his pocket to send a person by taxi to get the signature costing Rs. 600. He paid the bill himself to settle the issue. Things did not change much even after the director, Dr. Vikas, relinquished office. The acting director, Dr. Nagendra, when requested by Professor Abhimanyu in October 2014, who was the only faculty member who was conducting one open FDP every year, even after retirement for the last 3 years, free of any charge, the acting director suggested that since he was now retired, a faculty member who is in regular service of the institute should conduct the program. From where to get such faculty was a moot point. If any one or more of the 7 regular faculty members in the area were keen to do that, Professor Abhimanyu did not have to do it after retirement. Professor Abhimanyu somehow convinced a young assistant professor, Dr. Virendra, to formally coordinate the program. Dr. Virendra accepted the request and the proposal was put up to the acting director for approval. The director then said he did not wish to use his discretion and would like to work through system and referred the proposal to MDP chairman. Another assistant professor, who decided to discuss the matter with MDP committee and formulate a policy for FDP before deciding the issue. After 3 months, the MDP chairman informed that Rs. 15,000 be charged as registration fee for FDP. This was above Rs. 10,000, which the program was allowed to be charged by the governing board of a professional body under whose aegis the program was to be done. In the past, the director had been abiding by the uniform low fee suggested by the professional body. Other partner institutions who were conducting the FDP also had agreed to charge uniform fee. They were sister institutions, all promoted by MHRD, and charged low fee as a national cause because the program was in a discipline where there was acute shortage of faculty. IMX was a registered office of a professional body, and the board had accorded permission to have registered office of the body in its campus. 2 members of the governing board of the IMX were also members of the governing board of the professional body. Months passed. In the meantime, the acting director asked Dr. Virendra that since the program was to be conducted at the second campus, the approval of MDP chairman of the other campus should also be taken. The other MDP chairman said that he would like to go with MDP chairman of the main campus. He, however, proposed if the participant could be kept in a student's hostel, he may plead for lower rates. The idea was shelved, however, when the coordinator pointed out that many participant faculty members from various management institutes may be holding higher rank and position in their institution and universities than them. It was then decided to try the proposal when the new regular director joins. Professor Abhimanyu was wondering as to why things go wrong in conducting FDP in IMX despite keenness and unequivocal support of the Board of Governors. When he was deputed to a sister institution, which was 12 years younger, he faced all infrastructure problems, no classroom, executive hostel, dining room, etc. Still, the institute was able to do 6 to 8 FDPs every year. Now it was doing over a dozen programs every year. In 10 years from 2004, it had done over 100 week-long programs of over 650 days, which over 2,200 faculty members had attended, while IMX could not conduct even 10 FDPs during the period. The only thing he did was create improvised infrastructure, made a faculty member who was sold to the idea of FDP as chairman FDP, and separated FDP task from chairman MDP, and allowed 0.5 credit for FDP in the annual workload of a faculty, which was minimum 6 credit. He also did not miss inaugurating an FDP or delivering validatory address if he was in town. He had highlighted the importance of FDP in the perspective plan that he presented to the faculty, staff, and board members on his joining as indirect contribution to management education, as teachers trained in a program can benefit 2,000 to 4,000 students year after year. No such emphasis and clarity existed in IMX, he felt. Despite his best efforts, he could not give impetus to the activity. For over 20 years, he served IMX as a senior professor and having been even dean more than once. Perhaps the very mold in which the two institutions are cast now are different, he thought. Perhaps IMX engaged in commercial activities more, not developmental activities like FDP. How to break it continues to puzzle him, the 7th director, and the board members.